Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to not just another video, but to Mexico. This is your guide on traveling this amazing country with kids. I will tell you the best places to visit, if they are safe, how kid-friendly they are, and how expensive each place is. So let's dive into a land of ancient civilizations, stunning beaches, vibrant culture, and mouth-watering cuisine. This is not a guide, however, for people who say it's unsafe to leave their result because Mexico would be too dangerous, or people who complain that the Mexican food is too spicy. Mexico has so much more to offer than just stunning beaches and resorts, and that is exactly what we'll be getting into today. So let's go! These are the topics that we are going to discuss in this video. First up are the places that we visited. These are Cancun, Holbox, Valladolid, Akumal, a secret destination that is still relatively unknown to most travelers. I will reveal which place it is further down in this video, but I still want to keep it a little bit off the grid because it would be such a shame if this were to be getting swamped by tourists. And then finally, Tulum. Now this entire guide will only encompass the states of Quintana Roo and Yucatan. These are the states which encompass the most tourism, and we didn't go any further than this because we simply didn't have the time to explore the whole country. For each destination, I'm going to be discussing what things you should see and do, what animals you can spot in each destination, food tips, and so much more. The first stop is Cancun. We flew to Cancun, and this is where we rented our car to start our journey. If you are going to rent a car, be sure to read the fine print because we had to take an extra federal insurance which was mandatory if we wanted to rent a car, and this was not something we expected because we thought we had already paid insurance when renting the car. I remember searching for the cheapest car to rent, and turned out this was actually more expensive in the end, so don't make the same mistake. Take an all-inclusive package, you'll end up cheaper at the end. We didn't do too much in Cancun because we tried to get out of there as soon as possible, because main activities on Cancun are you can go yacht seeing or you can look at a bunch of drunk people coming in and out of clubs, but for us this was not a destination where we wanted to stay too long. We rented a car, but there are many buses traveling between different cities in Mexico, so you can do this by bus, although we opted for the convenience of a car. After Cancun, we drove straight to Holbox. If there is one place in the whole of Mexico I would recommend you to visit with kids, then Isla Holbox would be it. This island is car-free, so you do have to take the ferry from mainland to the island. And once you reach the island, the easiest way to get around is through the taxis. There will be driving a lot of them, and they are those awesome mini SUV type buggies that are driving all across the island. And you can take them for a reasonable price anywhere. On the island you can do many activities. You can either opt to explore the charming city of Holbox by walking or by bike. Do note, however, that most roads aren't paved, and many of the roads that aren't paved are actually just beach sand all across the entire island. If you want to access one of the many beaches in Holbox, you can do this pretty much anywhere. The whole island is full of beaches where you can go. Although you have to pay to access them, sometimes you can negotiate that whatever access you pay, this also includes food and drinks. We went during a lower time of season, so maybe if you're going at a higher time in the season, this will not be possible. It's definitely worth a try though. If you're going to the beach, the views are absolutely magnificent, and the big plus is that the water is shallow, very far into the ocean. So even small kids will be able to stand most of the time. During specific times of the season at low tide, you can walk for kilometers in very shallow water, which is also a very fun activity to do. Other top things to do on the island is in the morning go to Punta Coco. And by morning I mean before 10, because afterwards it will be much more crowded with tourists. And Punta Coco is located on the end of the island, so either you have to walk, take a taxi, or pick up a bike to get there. And there you can watch flamingos up close. One of the other main activities on the island is head out to the same place, which is Punta Coco, and view the bioluminescence. The waters around Holbox will light up with plankton from the moonlight. This will be a fairy tale experience your kids will never ever forget. However, if your kids have an early bedtime, this might be more difficult. Holbox is an amazing place to relax and recover from your jet lag. Generally on the island, things are a little bit more expensive, but that's on most islands. But going out to eat was on par with other parts of Mexico. Also, the activities we did are not necessarily more expensive than anywhere else in the country. If you're liking the content so far, make sure you hit the like button. This helps the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Next up was Valladolid. This town is much more inland, so not a coastal town, and during the day it is perfect for exploring those colonial streets in Valladolid. There are many shops selling local crafts, there are many bars and restaurants, and this town is well known for having very good restaurants and bars with very good food. So if you're a foodie, definitely go to Valladolid. The Central Park Principal Francisco is located in the center of the city and is a great place to relax and soak in the local atmosphere. There are many activities at the end of the day where they reenact certain parts of the revolution, or they take you on a history course of Mexico. So fun activity to do at the end of the day. Valladolid is mainly a great place to go and see different things in the area. It's very central with a lot of the Mayan temples and cenotes really close by. The most famous temples are Chichen Itza and Coba, and the most famous cenotes are the Suitum one, which is the one you regularly see on Instagram or in any of the leaflets, the cenote Zaki, which is located right in the center of the city, and the second one. Valladolid is also more affordable compared to other areas in Mexico, especially the more famous coastal areas. Dining out and activities are reasonably priced, which is perfect for bigger families. Next is Akumal. If you are short on time when traveling Mexico, then this is one of the areas that I would skip, because Akumal is mostly known for its resorts. And although we found a cheaper accommodation, in general, Akumal is a bit more expensive, especially when you're visiting the beach. Like with most beaches in Mexico, you have to pay an entrance fee, but the entrance fee is higher in Akumal, and food on the beach clubs are super expensive. Prices here are more like in Cancun or Playa del Carmen, and to us this was just a little bit too expensive for what we got. When you go to Akumal Pueblo, the center of the town, their restaurants are a lot cheaper, but don't expect any fancy dining out there. Other than that, there isn't too much to see in the town of Akumal. The main activity in Akumal is going to the beach. Although the beaches are absolutely breathtaking, there are other good options in Mexico as well. One of the must-see activities to do in Akumal is to go snorkeling with the turtles, but this can also be done in other areas of Mexico, and this is why I don't think Akumal is a must visit. We swam with turtles somewhere else, which I'll discuss later in this video. Next up, we have the secret destination, and this is Bacalar. Although not as secret as it once was, this is still a low-key destination to visit, and it is absolutely amazing. This is probably the area which I'll remember most about the trip to Mexico. Bacalar is very small and walkable, but if you prefer, bicycles and taxi are everywhere accessible, and they are reasonably priced. There are two main things to do in Bacalar. The first is the Seven Colors Lagoon, and this is best done by boat, but there are plenty of options to choose from. We opted for a sailboat and thus covered slightly less distance than if we were to take a motorized boat. The lagoon itself is breathtaking. You could look around and swim here for hours on end and feel like you are in the Maldives. The boat tours you can take, they bring you to different cenotes, islands and beaches, and with each place you get a different color of the water, and that's why they call it the Seven Colors Lagoon. Absolutely must do if you are visiting Bacalar. Another popular attraction is Los Rapidos in Bacalar, which means the Great Rapids, and this place is known for its natural water currents in the Bacalar Lagoon. It's like a natural lazy river. This has to be one of the most fun things we did in Mexico. You can just take a road next to the lagoon all the way to the beginning point, jump in the river, the current will take you where you need to get out, and you can repeat this over and over again. My daughter was an absolute fan of this, and I think we did it pretty much the whole day round. In the evening, there isn't too much to do. Main activities are walking alongside the lagoon or going out to eat in one of the beach clubs, which have an unbelievable view over the lagoon. They will serve very good typical Mexican dishes at a reasonable price. A big plus for children is on the main square in the city center. There is a big playground, and the locals usually gather there in the evening to let their kids play. And my daughter was invited to play with a lot of the other kids, and she had an absolute blast. Next up, we have Tulum. And this is actually one of the areas that caught us a little bit by surprise, but in a good way. We thought this was going to be a smaller version of Cancun, but it turned out it was nothing like it. Tulum Tulum has a lot of activities in and around the city. You have the Tulum ruins. This ancient Mayan city is perched on a cliff overlooking the Caribbean Sea, providing breathtaking views. You have beautiful beaches like Playa Paradiso. You have the Grand Cenote and an easy accessible cenote if you want to visit one that is close to the city of Tulum. In Tulum you can also go diving with the turtles. Like I said before, in Akumal you don't have to do it there. We actually did it in Tulum. We went on a boat trip to spot some turtles, and we went there early in the morning. We spotted 2 gigantic turtles swimming right below me, a lot of mantas and fishes. I mean, it was just amazing. Definitely worth to take on such an activity if you ever visit Mexico. Whether you do it in Tulum or somewhere else, I think it will be beautiful anywhere, but we had a blast in Tulum. Another activity you can do from Tulum is go to the Cancun Biosphere Reserve. This is an UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it offers boat trips, walking trips, a lot of fantastic activities. In the end, we chose not to do this activity because it took some time to drive from Tulum to the Biosphere, but afterwards, we were maybe a little bit disappointed that we didn't do this activity, because if you see any of the pictures from there, they look absolutely amazing. Here you can go through mangroves, bird watching, you get a chance to see dolphins and manatees, and it's a fantastic way to experience the natural beauty of the region. If you want to go and have a good lunch or dinner, then Tulum is absolutely the best place to be. We definitely ate the best food in the whole of Mexico in Tulum. Tulum has a lot of expensive fancy restaurants, but you can find cheaper alternatives as well, and they taste equally great, although often smaller and maybe less fancy decorated. But the food was absolutely amazing. In the evening you can enjoy a walk through the bustling main street of Tulum, where you find many shops, many restaurants and many clubs or bars. This is what sets Tulum apart. If you want to go out, you don't only have the nightclubs, but there also are a lot of salsa clubs. And even if you are not a salsa dancer, you can still go to one of these clubs because they will be more than happy to teach you. And usually in the earlier stage of the evening, you have somebody teaching you how to dance, and this was overall a fantastic experience. The salsa bars are one of the things that set Tulum apart from any of the other areas like Cancun, for example, where they have also fantastic nightlife, but these are more big and expensive clubs. Tulum is also known for its eco-friendly accommodations and activities, and this may add an educational aspect to your trip to teach your children all about eco and sustainability. One of the fun side notes we had in Mexico was just seeing the natural wildlife. At certain locations you can go very specific and swim with turtles or dolphins or see specific birds which are located on an island like we did in Bacalar. But one of the things I enjoyed most was that animal wildlife was just everywhere. We encountered so many iguanas. These animals are just everywhere. But we also saw some monkeys, some raccoons, a lot of fish if you go snorkeling, a lot of birds which we don't get in Europe, and also some snakes. So this concludes the trip we made to Mexico. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. From next week, we will be back with the usual content, more about running and sports. If you like this type of video, then tell me about it in the comment section. I would love to hear if you like it or if you didn't like it. It is just me sharing whatever I have experienced, and I found it difficult before going to Mexico to find activities and places that were ideal to visit with kids. You can find a lot of information, but for kids was slightly more difficult, so I decided to just make it myself. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!